What's up, you guys? It's Marissa from Push Past Paralysis, back with another video. And I just watched a podcast from friends of mine. It's the Dope and Dharma podcast. It was the Couch Live edition. You guys have seen me talk about them. It's the Now Matters More Foundation. I'll put all the links in the description. But they wanted a reaction in video form to the topics that they were talking about, and I figured it was a good idea to bring it to my own social media and put my own kind of spin on it. So the topic was reacting versus responding. And the angle that I wanted to come at this with is because we live in the age of identity politics, and that is a huge portion of my channel. So I wanted to talk about it from that perspective. As everybody has seen, the world is very reactive when it comes to identity politics. And it is actually the people who are... It's not the people that they're accusing. It's them. And I hate to use the us versus them, but it's the people doing the accusing that are reacting. And a lot of us on the receiving end don't even respond. If we do respond, we get shut down, or it makes it worse, so we retreat. And in my personal life, I've found that I don't get any identity politics kind of stuff from people in my personal life. If anybody has said anything derogatory towards me that I do know in person, it was behind a screen. So take that for what you will. But you almost feel like there's no answer that you can give them that's satisfactory, so why bother? They're going to believe what they're going to believe. You don't have to justify it, no? Now, in my own personal life, as far as reacting versus responding just as a person, I will take a step back. But I have also in the past, and it's something that I've continued to work on, is I will just not say anything until I explode. So I do try to express how I feel in the moment more now, or at least very close to the moment after taking a beat back, but not fully where I just don't address it and then wait for the next thing. But as far as for this video, as it pertains to the reactions and responses of people in the world, and in everybody's everyday life, the reactions get you nowhere. And you only react if something actually pushes a button in you, and that's something that I learned in my personal life from a life coach that I was seeing, is you only react if you have that button. If you don't have that button, you're not going to react. It's not going to hurt your feelings. So you have to look within and say, okay, why did that trigger me? Why did that trigger me to do the violent act or to say the derogatory thing or blah, blah, blah? And I realize that the people who mostly need to see this probably aren't going to watch it. But if it does help and resonate with you on a personal level, great. This is just my spin on the topic. I really wanted to bring it into the identity politics issue because I hate them. I think it's divisive. I think it's stupid. And I think the powers that be, whoever you may believe that is, want us to be divisive. They trigger us or instigate things on purpose to keep us divided. And most people have played right into that over the last several years. So, okay, if you know that you're not this, that, and the other thing that they're going to call you, don't react. Don't react, and maybe they'll go away. People like that feed off of and thrive on your reaction. So the worst thing you can do is give it. Take a step back, respond. You can respond. I'm not saying don't respond, because it's something that I wouldn't do. Like, if it's online and it's somebody calling me a name, I'll block them. But if you want to engage, you can try, but know that the other person is already triggered from whatever they saw you post and they're reacting to. So they're not going to react in a good way, and then it's just going to be a big back and forth. So sometimes it's just better to not engage, at least in that moment. There have been people who I've had a reaction with. We didn't talk for a really long time. And then finally one day we were able to sit down and respond to each other and listen to each other. Do we still disagree? Yeah. On a lot of things. Are there things we're never going to agree on? Yeah. A lot of things. Are there things, and this is the most important thing, are there things that we are never going to experience in each other's lives? Meaning, your experience is never going to be identical to mine, so to expect you to know exactly how I feel about a certain situation or a certain topic or whatever, or for me to completely understand one of your experiences, it's impossible. And we have to, as a society, come to terms with that, first and foremost. Is let people have their experience and their life, and don't project. And I notice this a lot with people outside of the movements. Now, I can say that I disagree with the reactions of these movements, but at the core, I think all movements start with good intentions. But I notice that the people most affected and triggered by these movements are people it doesn't affect. Like, for instance, I don't even want to give a for instance, because I don't want this to get flagged or whatever. But there are certain movements where a completely different demographic has more of a reaction on behalf of the group than a lot of people in the group. Or a lot of people who the group has to do with. For instance, I'll give you an example. It's not this, but it would be like me not reacting to something that most people with disabilities would get very triggered by. So use that for any other identity politics group that you can think of and just swap it out, because that's pretty much the case. You have to look at yourself as an individual who thinks for themselves, who responds for themselves, and don't get sucked into trigger words or trigger emotions or anything like that. And don't react, because most times when you're reacting, that's what they want. They're trying to get a reaction out of you, and you're giving it. And that goes for people in your personal life especially people in your personal life who are trying to get you mad for whatever reason. They're trying to get to you. Don't give them that reaction. And if they continue to make that a pattern, evaluate how often you're around that person. No matter how close you are, no matter what type of relationship it is, family, friends, spouse, whatever. If you're that triggered by another individual, no matter who it is, it's time to evaluate how often you're around them. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please share this if it resonated with you, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh, and subscribe, please.